All right, hard yarners. I know it doesn't probably say it's a 3.5 hour episode, but we've just done 3.5 hours of therapy with I guess, what's this program called? Is it brain mapping?
Yeah, brain mapping.
Yeah, we've been brain mapping me and giving myself a coupling protocol.
Yeah, phase amplitude coupling protocol.
Yes, but we were joined by Lara Schulz, who came on last time, spoke a lot about ASD, dementia, Alzheimer's, and we do touch on that again today, at quite a lot of depth. But we use me as a guinea pig to map my brain. Actually, before we speak about what we talk about as much as we do, this episode is brought to you by alltradescover.com.au. If you're watching at home, you'll be able to see behind Lara their logo. All Trades Cover, if you're a big business, small business, or a medium-sized business, they're going to be able to cover you when it comes to trade insurance. I am actually surprised at how many people don't have trade insurance. Corey, who was on a couple of weeks ago, they've just done a big renovation of their gym, added in a big recovery centre, cryotherapy, all the cold plunge, the saunas, the recovery boots, all of it. And all the tradies that came in, a lot of them didn't have insurance. So get involved. They're going to be able to give you a good quote, a competitive quote. Tell them Hard Yard sent you, and that helps us. Link is in our bio and it's in our show notes. This episode is also brought to you by Crafted Finance. Do you need a home loan? Do you need a business loan? Do you need any sort of finance, assets? They can help you with it all. The best thing about them is they're like-minded people. They love being open-minded about all this sort of stuff, but they also want to help you get the best possible loan with the least amount of interest possible. They're not just trying to get your business and make sure they earn money off you. There's no kickbacks. I don't think that's even legal, but they're definitely just going to present you with all the options. They'll present you with the easiest option that'll get you the loan 100%, but they'll also present you with the best term of the loan with least amount of interest over that term of the loan. They're going to just present you with the options. Here you go. You make the decision at the end, but that's what they do. They're very good people, like-minded, and I'd love you to get around them and support them. So if you're in Australia, hit them up. Crafted Finance, it's in the show notes of every episode, so you can click their link and you can see their logo behind me. But we were joined by Lara Schulz, and she brought her brain mapping technology in. I want to premise this episode by, firstly, I'm going to say, this episode, there is dead air at points where I do all the tests and all the brain mapping. So I may cut most of that out. So if there is jumps in time, that is why. And this is a visual episode. I think you did very well regardless to explain what was going on, even if they can't watch towards the end. Yeah. But if you do have the opportunity to watch this on YouTube or watch on Spotify when you can see what's going up, I have the screen on the screen, so you'll be able to see exactly what you're talking about at the time. My brain maps, what's happening with my theta and delta and
gamma,
and
beta.
But Lara, what did we talk about and what did we do?
Well, firstly, I just want to prefix and say, Mum, I didn't swear once.
Well done.
You can share this podcast with your mates.
I mean, I may have sworn couple of times. You made note of it. But yes.
I had a stern talking to before I came over, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yep. So, what did we chat about? Or what did we do?
Well, we did an eyes open brain map. And so we did 4 assessments, eyes open, eyes closed, 2 ERPs, so a cognitive assessment and then an auditory assessment.
Cool.
Yep.
And then we went through the results and how we would be able to, what it would mean, what those results meant.
Yep.
And then
we came to a conclusion of what protocol it is that, I would then work with you. And I suppose that throughout this whole process, you get to see how my mind is working, what it is that I'm seeing, what I'm reading, and the evolution of the process of how I sort of come to decide of how I want to help you.
It's definitely a very good episode. And although we use me as a guinea pig, it's a great way to see what they can do for you, as well as our kids with ASD, ADHD, any sort of learning delays, PTSD, trauma.
Yeah.
Oh, the lot. Sleep.
Sleep's so important.
Yeah, there's so many issues that are uncovered and you cover in this episode. So another incredible episode. Can't wait to have you on to do the same with Delby.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be fun. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. So let's get hard.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
I am fucking fat.
Anything Chris White says, please disregard it.
5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness.
That was Hard Yarns with me, Frankie Rose. So I'm going to throw it over to your co-host,
Daniel Jelby.
And Cameron Branch.
I would do this and then I'd gong.
Free in attendance for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
Yeah, he's great. Well, next time he's over, I'll introduce.
Where does he live?
He's here. He's local.
Okay.
He's he operates just around the corner, I think. So,
Cool.
But thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me again.
Mate, I really do appreciate it. So let's set this up. Let's how you been? What's
Good.
been going on
Well, thank you.
in the world of neurotherapy, I guess? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, neurotherapy, neurostimulation. Everyone likes to call it neurofeedback, but it's not neurofeedback.
Okay.
Yeah, just super busy ever since, I did the last podcast with you guys.
Yeah.
I have had so many people reach out for work with dementia and Alzheimer's.
Wow. Oh, because that one clip went very...
Yeah.
Get that a little bit
wild.
closer to you if you can. You can stay where you are. Just move that
Okay.
mic nice and close. Perfect. And yeah, okay, cool. So that's great. I'm glad
Yeah.
that... was it due to that,
I
you
think so. It would have to be because I don't advertise.
Yeah, okay.
I'm useless when it comes to marketing, advertising, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. So,
And it's been having a real good impact. And
amazing impact. So many people are just so unbelievably grateful. They've got their parent back.
Yeah.
In, the capacity of the lights are no longer just on and no one's home, but this, people are just reconnected back into themselves.
So just to recap, what did we talk about last time for new listeners?
Oh, so the technology that I use, we
very
do
broad.
this in a
We'll do it very
quick step.
broadly speaking.
Yeah, so we've got these new protocols called phase amplitude coupling protocols, and it's looking at how the brain gets in phase with each other between theta and gamma. And so when the brain is not in phase, you have issues with memory and being able to process information efficiently. So, and through the before and afters of an EEG, we have the baseline, which is what we're going to do with you today, and then we do, say, 30 sessions, and then we take another EEG. We can measure the changes that we create in the brain. And so I generally work in an intensive capacity, so we're doing 30 sessions over 3 weeks. And you just see patients come back to life, essentially.
Yeah, wow.
In
Incredible.
a cognitive space, right?
And I recall the work you're doing with kids with autism and in regards to probably most prominently their ability to regulate
Emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
it's
just
huge.
and this is something we're going to be hopefully diving into with our kid.
Yeah.
And just off the top of my head, does that mean, for example, like this is going to be able to help kids with autism if they struggle with emotional regulation as their key sort of issue? Struggling to get through maths problems or persevere through not being able to spell or whatever, speak correctly. Is that going to help with this? Because if they're not melting down and they're able to regulate that emotion, they're going to persevere and probably learn quicker. Is that sort of what's happening?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay,
well
cool.
done.
Cool. As
You've
well,
just done my job for
okay,
me.
cool. As well, and the way you're doing that is by stimulating from memory the prefrontal cortex, which
Lots of different areas.
Okay.
So it depends on what I read in the EEG. So every single person is so unique and so different. So we don't have a one size fits all. It's not medication.
Okay.
Right? We're not suppressing symptoms. We are getting to the bottom of what the issue is within the brain. So
Okay.
we have 5 different brain waves. We work with delta, which is deep wave, really big waves, right? That's what you create when you're in deep sleep.
Okay.
And then you have theta, which is what you're creating essentially like just before you go to sleep. It's like in REM sleep,
Yep.
we create a lot of theta. It's when we're awake, it's really good for creativity. It's a fantastic rhythm. Then we have alpha, and that's what we I talk about alpha. It's like getting into the flow. It's really nice. It's what you'd be creating when you're at the pub with friends. And then you've got beta, which is what you and I are probably creating right now in listening and being able to retain information and process it at a much quicker pace.
Okay.
And then you've got gamma, and gamma is like super, super fast brainwaves. And that's, when you have your aha moments, Einstein would have created a lot of gamma when he had those aha moments of like real intuition and processing fast.
Okay.
So they're the brainwaves that we're essentially working in. So if you've got a kid with emotional dysregulation, we might see that at T6, which is on the right side of the brain, just behind the ear.
Yep.
And that's the closest part of our brain to our amygdala.
Okay.
And so when we have a lot of emotional dysregulation there, it's either too much activity or, underactive activity, so not enough activity.
Yep.
And so we can stimulate those parts of the brain to regulate that activity so that they're not having a meltdown, or they're just not connected to self at all, if that makes sense.
So basically what we're going to be doing today is that original brain mapping that you use to assess what's going on in someone's brain in certain situations.
Yep.
And then that's where you'd make your assessment as how we're going to stimulate what areas of the brain.
Yep.
Wow.
Totally.
So it seems a little more simple than I'd anticipate.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
I'm trying really hard to make it
very
simple.
dumbing it down, I'm sure. But also, and this is covered by NDIS as well.
Yes. If you're self-managed, definitely.
So that, and I guess that lends, this isn't no woo-woo spirituality, pseudoscience.
No,
this
a lot
is
of people
real.
like to say that it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
Look, research has been in this space. I think it started in like the late 1800s into EEGs.
Incredible.
Research and data and science has been around for a very long time in this area.
And what do we anticipate you find with me? This is just a way to figure out how my brain operates?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to find out with you. I could tell you what we'd find out with Daniel.
I think, when you're back in October, I think it is, we maybe get you to jump back on and I'd love to see Delby's brainwaves. It'd be insane.
Yeah.
This is interesting. So, and you said before, I have to be a little bit open and vulnerable.
Yeah. So, This is a place or a space within which we work where I'm doing a deep dive into your brain, right? So a lot of the time I can see things that you potentially might not even want to discuss or talk about. And so you're putting yourself in a really vulnerable position, allowing me in. And that's something that I take, very seriously.
Okay.
So in doing this whole process, like we're not trying to make a mockery out of this, right?
No.
This is really, it is very serious.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, you're showcasing the method in which you're using to help people.
Yeah, totally. And so, I just want to say, I take it very seriously, and it's, it's an honour that you would allow me to do this and, share this with everyone.
If we come across something and you're like, well, you've got an underactive or overactive, blah, blah, can we...
Have I got your permission to discuss all of that on
I'm open book.
I need your permission.
I've done a lot of fucking deep diving in past episodes.
Okay.
I've done journeys through mushroom trips. I've done...
Wow.
I had I don't know what you'd call him, but we did a regression, like a childhood regression,
cool.
and we went through some traumas and worked back to that and healed that. We did like past life regression. I've done it all. I've been open about it.
Life regression.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
That is interesting. Boris, I'll get you in touch with Boris. He does it. He does it via Zoom.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though he's here,
I
did mine via Zoom with him, and it was very efficient and very effective.
Yeah, awesome.
So, but I mean, if I do it again, I'll do it in person because he's just a great person. I like being around Boris. Okay. But so I'm an open book.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And if I don't like something, I'll edit it out.
That's called cheating.
Yes, yeah. So I guess we'll pause here and you'll hook me up to all these machines, and then we'll come back and I'll be hooked up ready
Yep.
to go. And well, I should also say that we've got, and I think is your computer on at the moment. So
Yep.
if you're looking or watching at home, you can actually see what's going on. We've got Lara, we've got me, and then on this screen we have a screen of where the mapping will be.
Yep.
And I think while we're doing it, we'll probably keep it on there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real need for you to be on screen or me to be on screen, is there?
Well, it'll be good to have you on screen just so everyone can see what you look like. 'Cause
Okay.
You're going to have a cap on your head. You're
All
going to
right.
have clips on your ears.
Well, we'll move this
Yeah.
machine over towards you so you can operate it, and I'll show you which buttons to press
Cool.
for what's on screen. All right, we'll be back in 1 second.
Sweet.
All right, welcome back.
Welcome
I'm
back.
hooked up.
You are hooked up. All right, so we're going to start recording in just a moment.
Okay.
What I need from you is to make sure that you are very relaxed. Make sure your teeth are not touching. You can breathe as normal, blink as normal, swallow as normal. Any artifact in the recording I will cut out as I'm processing it.
Okay. Can I have a drink first then?
Absolutely. Have a drink. And then what I'll
Of
need...
coffee?
No coffee.
Listeners, I've had to forego a coffee for the last, how long?
Well, 3 hours
Yeah.
before your brain map. So no stimulants before the brain mapping. Anyone. I'm sorry to
Or
say.
a coffee to have straight after. Is that a problem?
No, everyone does that.
Classic.
All right. So pick a spot on the wall to stare at,
Okay.
because even when your eyes move, that creates impedance. And I'll demonstrate all of that as we start recording.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to start recording now. Okie dokie, we're rolling. So once this evens out. Okay. Now wiggle your eyes, look from left to right. And that's creating the impedance that you can see. Now look straight. Blink. Yep, so you can see their eye blinks as well. Perfect.
Wow. Am I allowed to talk? Sorry.
Nope, no talking,
Sorry.
because that creates muscle artifact that we can see now at T3 and T4. So just relax your jaw. Make sure your teeth aren't touching. Perfect. Good. So now we're doing 10 minutes of an eyes open scan, and then we'll do 10 minutes of eyes closed, and then we're going to do 2 ERPs. And ERPs are called event-related potentials. And what we're doing with that is looking at how your brain processes information that you see and information that you hear from an auditory perspective. Go back there and save. Excellent. All right. So the next thing that I always do when I'm looking at the end of an EEG is your profile. So not your profile, but what your heart is doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is telling me that you have a healthy profile because the low frequency and the high frequency are basically even.
Yep.
I'm looking at your SDNN, and you've got an SDNN of 64, which is brilliant. This is an indicator of heart health. So if your SDNN is low, I would then send you off and ask you to get a referral from your GP to have a whole cardiac workup.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we don't have to do that. And you have a resting heart rate of 52 beats a minute. So we write all of that down, 52.48. You have a 64 SDNN, which is excellent, and you've got a healthy profile.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's a bit boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's what we want. Okay, so now...
So you were saying some things throughout, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the 10 minutes of silence while I was talk. But regardless, to recap, you were saying some things throughout. So there was occasions where you said there was mu. What does that mean?
Okay, so mu is a frontal lobe disengagement. When we have mu sitting at C3 and C4, so you got mu happening here and here. That means this part here can't work.
So the back, you're
So
pointing to the
C3,
back.
C4, it's in the middle of the brain.
Yep.
It's your sensory motor cortex.
Okay.
When that part of your brain is working too much, then other parts of the brain can't switch on because this is working over time. Yeah, so you have a little bit of mu at C3, C4, bit in F3, F4, and P3, P4.
And what would that mean?
It just means, well, look, it can be healthy. 70. So these are the stats, right? 70% of people with autism create mu. 50% of people with ADHD create mu. I think it's up to 18% of the population create mu, and that's healthy.
Yep.
And 50% of people with an affective disorder create mu as well. So it can be an indicator that there's other stuff going on.
Yeah, okay.
So yours could just be completely healthy. We also see mu in elite athletes a lot.
Well, I run
that
ultra
you?
marathons.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting into the zone, right?
Yeah.
When you're running. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's good. It's healthy.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Lambda, you mentioned.
Lambda.
Lambda.
Yeah, it's a V.
Okay.
It's like a V in the occipitals. It's we see it in lots of different cases. I see it a lot in trauma because people are visually tracking, like they're looking. They're always on the lookout. So if you've been had an abusive partner, or you're looking out for that. Okay. That's you're looking for something to come out and get you, essentially.
Yeah, I can think of a few people like that.
Right.
But, it's probably not me.
No. So then for you, I would say, are you susceptible at having spiritual experiences?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And so, sometimes I see like a really big V in the occipitals when I'm doing a recording, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to bring this up? Because I don't want someone to think that I'm completely cuckoo.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. All right, cool. And then, so what are some of the things that you did notice? That is there anything outstanding that should be?
No, your EEG is pretty cool. I mean, there's quite a bit of alpha. You don't use any THC products, medicinal marijuana.
Time to time, yeah.
Yeah, okay, there you go. It did cross my mind when I was reading your EEG.
Yeah, right. But it's not a huge amount.
Okay. Well, medicinal marijuana can create a lot of alpha.
Definitely not medicinal.
Okie dokie. So normal marijuana usage creates alpha, right? It puts you into that state of being chilled out and relaxed.
Yeah.
The brain loves being in alpha.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we use too much of that, it can create a really lazy brain, and then it's really hard for me to work with that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, I'll make sure I'm avoiding that.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a rarity.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. When you see more of it than less, you're like, what's going on here?
And what does that mean in regards to lazy brain? Like,
well, when I say lazy brain, like it's hard. The brain likes to be in that sort of rhythm, so it can be hard to get it out of that rhythm. So once it gets stuck in it, it can be hard to shift it.
Is there other reasons you could be in that?
Yeah, it could be a dissociative rhythm as well. So like I said, you create mu, that can be a dissociative profile. Too much alpha with a frontal lobe disengagement, you can disassociate more easily.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, that would be more tied to probably someone that I would see with some trauma.
Yeah. I mean, there is trauma, but I've sort of dealt with all of that. I'd say.
Everybody says that.
Yeah.
But when I see dysregulation at T6, I'm like, there's still some residual there.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm definitely aware of that as well.
Yeah.
In regards to there's always things that you need to work through.
Yeah. And what I would say to that is go do some EMDR.
EMDR, what's
EMDR is eye movement reprocessing desensitization.
Okay.
And so what that does is when we experience trauma, we create a neural pathway, and that's a traumatic neural pathway that's been created in the brain.
Okay.
What EMDR does is it takes you back to that traumatic event. There are lots of different ways that we can do that. You can do it by talking about it. You can do it through a method called Flash, where you don't have to talk about it, so you're not re-traumatizing you. But essentially what we do with the eyes moving is you're processing and you're discussing it, and it just dissipates. It just lifts and it leaves. So it no longer becomes a trigger because we've cleaned that neural pathway out. We then lay a healthy neural pathway on top of that.
How do you do that? Maybe chuck it on you while you're explaining this. Number one.
And
yeah, so how would you relay a new neural pathway?
Well, your therapist will talk to you about how you would have liked that situation to have turned out instead of the traumatizing way it played out.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and so you do that again with the eye movement EMDR process.
Now, so by doing that eye movement, left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. How can you find it, or how do you know it's the correct neural pathway that you're...
Because it will come to the surface
Whilst you're
doing this. And then, your therapist will say, is there anything else that's coming to the surface? And you can say, yes, I'm experiencing blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it pulls it out, essentially.
Wow.
In a really safe way. Yeah, with a very skilled therapist.
Wow.
Yeah.
So could it be as simple as brushing your teeth with your left hand while talking about your issues?
Nah.
No.
Sorry.
It can't be that then. Okay. All right. Interesting. No, that's awesome. That's cool. I'm about to have my coffee. I'm eating some jerky. All right, listeners. So I've done 4 tests.
Yep, 4
Is that right?
assessments.
4 assessments, sorry. So quickly, let's go over what they were shortly.
Okay, so we did an eyes open QEEG for 10 minutes. We did an eyes closed QEEG for 10 minutes.
Which those are?
So it's just me reading all those wiggly lines. So the first one, eyes open, eyes closed. And then the 2 ERPs. And ERP stands for event-related potential. And it's looking at how your brain processes information from a cognitive perspective and then an auditory perspective.
Yeah, so the cognitive, there was a picture on the screen.
Yep.
And when I saw
The word go. Yep.
I would click the mouse.
Correct.
And then the auditory was there was a high tone and a low tone. When the high tone came up, yeah, okay, cool.
Click once on the mouse. Yep.
So should we go through them one by one of what we found?
We will, yep. I just have to, the numbers have to get crunched in the system.
Okay.
So if you pop on my screen, you're going to see like what my system is now doing. It's crunching through all the ICAs. ICA stands for independent component analysis. So it is looking at a lot of different information that it's pulling out of the EEG recording. And so I will step you through that shortly.
Yep.
But this is just, a bit of a time-consuming process of what goes on. So this is eye movement. So this is rubbish. This is brain. So we're going to keep it. We're going to keep all of this stuff here that says brain. This is other. So I need to go in here and have a look at this and understand exactly what this means. This here to me is rubbish. So I do not want to accept it. So we're going to reject that component.
Okay.
And we're going to keep going through. We're going to reject that one as well.
So all of this is giving you
insight and understanding into how your brain is functioning.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then once you have an idea of how the brain is functioning, then you can refine the neurostimulation.
Then I select which protocol I'm going to use to show your brain how to work more efficiently.
It does. When you break it down like that, I know it's a very complicated process, but it seems so simple and so obvious.
Yeah, totally.
And so interesting to me that it's not so mainstream.
Well, it should be mainstream.
Yeah.
This should be in every GP office or every psychiatrist's office. Should be in every psychology practice.
Agreed, yeah.
Especially when we're doing assessments on individuals to find out what's going on with their system. Are they depressed? Are they anxious? Is there ADHD on board?
Yeah.
Is there, an autism diagnosis going on? We need, instead of a box ticking exercise, we need to get the information directly from the brain because so many times, so for an example, a woman came to me for Alzheimer's treatment and I did all of this with her and I said, I'm really sorry, but your data doesn't give me an indication of Alzheimer's. I think you've got trauma.
Wow.
And so the geriatrician had told her she had Alzheimer's. And, I went through this whole process with her husband, and her 3 children. And at the end of the process, when we sat down, we went through the baseline. So what we just did now with the first EEG, she did 30 sessions of STIM. We came back, we did the second EEG. So I could show the before and afters.
Yeah.
The daughter basically said in the second follow-up session, she said, I always knew it wasn't dementia or Alzheimer's. She said, I always thought it was trauma.
Wow.
What was wrong with mum? And so, part of the process in the AI tool, because we're now using AI in this process, and I'll generate an AI report for you so you know what I'm talking about. Her AI protocol and report came back and said she wasn't a match for dementia or Alzheimer's. So I take your data and I throw it into our system, and our system has a database full of patients of brain recordings who have a professional diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia. And so what we're doing is I throw my data in and it does a match. So it's going, yes, you have between 0 and 100 on a scale. We can match you to properly diagnosed patients with this condition. And we can show you in the scale where you're sitting compared to someone with that actual diagnosis. Wow. So what I'm doing is I'm not diagnosing, but I'm saying there is a match. There is something going on here. Yeah. And then this is what I would do to try and press pause or reverse what we're doing.
Now, I'm not sure what I've included in the cut as well, and we'll premise this at the start of the episode, but the things that I did pick up on,
onto my screen,
which we can see now.
So this is the analysis that's going on with your brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's going through all of this.
This is just the first one. This is just your eyes open, and it's just showing me. This is showing me whereabouts your brain is in phase and how in phase it is. So
now you were able to pick up certain things that I was like thinking and doing. No, not thinking, but
processes that your brain was going through. Yeah.
Yeah, which that's. I mean, I guess that makes sense. That our brain makes everything work, but. For you to be able to recognise certain patterns and say, oh, this is what this is and this is what this is. You made reference to THC use.
Yep.
You made reference to being an athlete.
Yep.
As well, with no prior knowledge of that. So just by looking at the brainwaves, that's incredible.
Totally. And, I actually prefer doing it that way. I prefer not knowing anything about the person and reading the EEG and giving you what I'm seeing, because a lot of the time people are like, I don't want to, it's kind of like, I'm not going to say it's like going to a clairvoyant, but I don't want a heads up with what it is that I'm dealing with. I want to be able to tell you what I'm seeing, so the person then genuinely feels that this person knows what she's doing and she's doing the deep dive into my system.
Well, I straight away assumed I cannot lie to you.
No, there's no hiding.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I said at the beginning, this is a very vulnerable position you're putting yourself in.
Yeah.
I'm doing a deep dive into to your system, right?
And then when we go through this, will we then unpack certain things?
If you like.
I mean, we can a little bit. We don't need to work through them, but
no.
we can. I'll let you know if you're on track as well. I'm quite happy to.
Yep,
be open
sounds
about
good.
that.
All right, so now I'm just processing your eyes closed brain map.
Okay. And so the eyes closed one, you said I was all over the place.
Well, you were moving through different states, right?
Yes.
And you can see that you're moving through different states. And sometimes that can be uncomfortable. That's why I said, how are you feeling? Like, what's going on for you? Like, there was quite a bit going on.
Yeah, I was just all over the place. Nothing bad.
No. No, it doesn't have to be bad.
No, but just like my mind just
wandering.
like when you meditate.
Yeah.
And your mind wanders and then you go, and you pull yourself back.
Yep.
Well, that's what I was doing.
Yeah. And you can see that.
And there was I found that incredible when you knew I was about to fall asleep.
I'm like, come back.
Come back. So you can see that in brainwave activity. So basically everything just stops.
Yeah. You don't have those really big waves.
It becomes a lot less.
Yep.
Now, what happens if I was to fall into sleep?
Well, then it would just be like delta waves that I would see.
Okay. And the delta is
deep sleep.
Deep sleep.
Well, yeah. So I'd see either theta or delta going on, but because there was such a reduced amount of brain wave activity. So what it is that I'm looking for with eyes closed is that the brain is shutting down essentially, like it wants to go to sleep. So instead of with eyes open, you've got a lot of really fast wave rhythms. In eyes closed, I would see bigger rhythms. And so the brain's doing what it's meant to do.
And what else you made reference, and I can't remember, I don't know if I've included this part at the start, but we can touch on it again. You made reference to poor sleep.
Yeah, so I saw some beta spindling at CZ with your eyes open.
Yes. So I did have a poorish sleep last night, not consistently, but last night just my partner was coughing quite a lot. So
At least she wasn't snoring.
No, she's not snoring. Maybe the snorer, maybe. But yeah, she was coughing a bit last night, and I had to get up in the middle of the night for my daughter temporarily.
Yeah, so no. So generally when I see a lot of beta spindling, that's consistently bad sleep.
Okay, for me.
Well,
is that what that's suggesting?
I just saw some beta spindling. I didn't see a lot of beta spindling.
Okay.
Just little bits here and there. So look, you may sleep really, really well. The numbers are going to tell me shortly if you're deficient in delta and if you're getting good restorative sleep.
It'd be interesting. I've also been interested because, again, I don't smoke very often. It's a rare, but I've always been interested in the quality of sleep, which I've been told is poor with THC.
Yep.
Well, not poor, but a lot less than just a quality.
So people will start on THC and they'll think that they're getting the most amazing sleep ever.
Yeah.
They're actually not.
They're not. Yeah. And it's the same with coffee. I know it has a shelf life. Is it half-life or whatever they call it? 12 hours.
Yep.
So you don't want to be having, if you're going to bed at 10 o'clock, you don't want to be having it past 10 o'clock really. So
totally.
I'm usually pretty consistent with that. Today I'm clearly not. I'm having a coffee now. But generally I won't have a coffee past 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, cool.
That's thanks to our last one or second last guest before you was Corey Green. He told me that a long time ago.
Yeah, okay.
When it comes to caffeine.
Yeah. I mean, if I drink coffee at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I will not sleep that night.
I will. I got no problem sleeping.
Okay.
I just know that the quality of sleep.
Is
I could
poor.
have a coffee at 10 o'clock at night and go to bed 2 minutes later. It doesn't seem to have that effect on me. I know though that the quality of sleep would be then affected. So I just avoid it.
So you're just not getting into the deep delta restorative rhythms of sleep.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it doesn't seem to have an issue. Like I would go out and drink 10 Red Bull vodkas.
Oh my God, don't do that.
Yeah, I know. I do not do that anymore. That's 19-year-old me.
That stuff is so bad for the brain.
It's so bad, full stop. Like it's
Totally.
just horrific. But I used to go out, get home at 2 or 3 in the morning after 10 Red Bull vodkas and just straight to sleep. Like doesn't keep me up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's my brain. Is that something in my brain?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
I'll have a look at the numbers shortly.
And what else will you be able to tell about this? Will you be able to tell if I have some form of ADHD or some sort of autism or are we all on the spectrum to a point?
I think we are all on the spectrum to a point. Like what is normal?
Yeah. Interesting.
Honestly.
And then I guess the level of severity just depends on your ability to navigate.
Totally. How much does it actually impact your everyday life?
Okay.
Right.
Then what is autism really?
Well, autism is it's so you've got so many different levels of ASD, right? 1, 2, 3. You've got sorry, my computer's just going crazy.
It's all good. Oh, good. Yes.
So
a lot of my brain around.
So you've got different levels of ASD, which then impact your ability to be able to function every day, right? And so if we've got a lot of mu in the brain, which is again the frontal lobe disengagement, it's your brain's ability to switch your frontal lobe on is severely diminished, right?
Okay.
And so when we're working with that sort of ASD or the emotional dysregulation, we've got to try and balance out what it is we're trying to stabilise essentially in the brain to give the person a better quality of life and healthier brain function. So if it's too much emotional dysregulation, then I wouldn't go near the mu. I would just essentially try and work on T5, T6, where, that's connected with the amygdala and emotion. But again, frontal lobe can be connected with emotion and emotional regulation too. So it's just so complex.
So broadly speaking, is autism more related to your social and emotional regulation? Or is it just a broad spectrum?
It's just a broad spectrum issue of wiring and network hubs in the brain not connected and communicating properly.
I was so wrong. Now, obviously, having it very close to my heart, it's a big part of my life now.
Yeah.
I used to think autism was you were mentally handicapped. And I didn't know. I did. That's what I thought it was. I
Yeah,
just thought it was
no.
a thing you're mentally handicapped. I didn't realise there was this broad spectrum of just very normal people who are just, they've got maybe some social anxiety or
Some deficiencies in certain areas.
or delays.
Totally.
And then within 2 or 3 years they catch up, and
Yep.
you wouldn't know a difference. For me, my experience and my knowledge on autism has certainly grown, but I didn't really know what it was, or how it could be fixed. I had assumed it could be at least alleviated in certain ways, and now we have.
Well, we can sort of alleviate it. We can make life easier. We can show the brain how to function more efficiently and effectively, and regulate the brain.
Yeah.
So stabilize the brain. I like to use a lot of stabilizing rhythms with ASD.
So, for example, if you'd have a bit of a learning delay, that might be due potentially to your ability to regulate your emotions and persevere through something that's challenging.
Yep.
And if you could then help a client, I guess, navigate those sort of emotional regulation outbursts, they might be able to persevere and then learn those things that they're trying so hard to learn at the time. Yeah.
So again, like with Mu, if there's a frontal lobe disengagement and the sensory motor cortex is working over time, the other parts of the brain don't have the ability to switch on and regulate and work properly. So we need to reduce the amount of Mu that is in the person or the kid's brain, so that everything else has an opportunity to be able to come online and work.
And this can only be done through this neurostimulation, or there's other ways, I guess, the left and right.
So when you're looking at brain waves, right, I don't do anything to the brain that the brain doesn't naturally already do on its own. I'm just putting the healthy regulated rhythms on top of the dysregulated rhythms that the brain currently creates.
Okay, so dysregulated.
Yep.
Dysregulated rhythms, that interests me. Let's talk through them and what they are.
So Mu, when it's overactive and there's too much of the rhythm Mu, that is dysregulated.
Okay.
So I would then use a Mu buster protocol, which we've called it, and I would show the brain how not to create Mu, but how to create a really healthy SMR rhythm, a regulated, stabilizing rhythm in the brain.
Wow.
Yep.
Incredible.
And so any information or any rhythms that I put into the brain, our brains want to mimic.
Yeah.
That is why we're so successful at creating healthy change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you, and before we look at what's going on with my brain, you guys are located only at the moment, was it in Tamworth?
Yep.
And
so Tamworth, Jindabyne, and I did a pop-up in Wagga recently. Well, I'm looking for staff in Wagga to get Wagga re-established.
Okay.
And I'm doing a pop-up here in Perth in October.
Yeah, so do you travel around and offer these services where you can?
Yep, I do.
That's great.
Yep, and then we'll be permanent here in Perth as of the beginning of next year.
Oh, that's like you.
Yep.
Like you're moving over here, or
No.
I was going to say. So you'll have a franchise almost or whatever over here.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So my technician Beth, who runs my Tamworth clinic, she has asked to set up Perth for me.
Wow.
So I was just like, yes,
She wants to
girlfriend.
relocate over here.
She desperately wants the heat and the
I was about to
beach.
say, fucking why wouldn't you? Because
know.
Perth is that good. Like,
I know.
look at. I mean, today's a bad day.
Yeah. Well, it's winter.
It's winter. It's pissing. But like, you see the next 6 days. How long are you here for?
We have to fly home Friday.
Okay, so
The
you're
one
gonna get
day
a
where
bit-
it starts to get
Yeah,
sunny.
well, no, yeah. I think tomorrow it comes in a little bit as
Okay,
well.
cool.
So, but yeah, then our next 7 days are like 20 degrees and sunny, and that's our winter. And you're
So
like, well,
nice. Hey, remember, like I used to live here, so I get it.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous that Beth is going to be running the Perth clinic because I do want to be back here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But that's great to know that that's starting to become a little more available around Australia.
Yep.
What about around the world? Are there other?
Oh, it's huge around the world.
I don't understand then. So if it's huge around the world, are we not seeing that used around the world? Is it being used?
It is. It's being used all throughout the US, Asia. Russia is huge in this space.
Mm-hmm.
Where else? Everywhere.
Just everywhere.
But yeah.
But not Australia.
Well, Australia
limited.
historically has done a lot of neurofeedback. And
Okay.
neurofeedback is a space where I was in as well in my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, okay.
When I first started getting into this. And so technology has evolved so much that what I'm now doing with neurostimulation is more of the gold standard in
Cool.
in rehabbing the brain and working with it and showing it how to function. So what neurofeedback can do in 12 months, I can essentially affect in 3 months.
Wow. That's so good.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we're able to, in some way, at least popularise this a little bit more throughout Australia. Obviously,
Yeah.
having a bigger following in Australia.
Yeah.
But it's very exciting for me as a parent.
Yes.
Someone affected by ASD.
Yeah.
It just gives you a little bit of hope that
Yes.
there's other things out there. It's not just this hopeless idea. Same with dementia and Alzheimer's, which you've touched on last time.
Yeah.
So many parents or so many children with their parents going through dementia and Alzheimer's,
Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
having an option
Yep.
that no one knows about this. I don't know about it. Dr. Sally Price was one who told
I
me
know.
about you.
Yeah.
I'd never
Sal.
heard about this. And so without people like yourself and hopefully us, and then, maybe set you up with some other bigger podcasts over at East and stuff and try and get the word out about this.
We have to.
It seems
'cause
like a
it's
no-brainer.
life-changing.
Well, pardon the pun. But it
Yeah.
does,
Yeah, it is. And you know what? Like a lot of people say, is this permanent? Is the brain going to go back to what it was doing before we started working with you?
That was
And-
my ex's first question. Is this a
Right.
permanent
Yeah.
fix?
Yes. I'm chasing a permanent fix. I'm not chasing to suppress symptoms like
Band-Aid.
drug therapy
Yeah.
is or a Band-Aid. I'm trying to create a permanent change. Like
Mm.
you could see with the example that I gave with my auditory processing.
Yeah.
I'm not going, I haven't reversed back to 600 milliseconds. I'm still a lot faster.
Yeah.
And I would expect that to continually to evolve and get better. So yeah,
Wow.
I have
Have you done
patients.
training on that after, or is this just the one?
No. Oh, well, yeah, like the protocol always changes. So I've got a new protocol for myself. I've been doing a lot of pack protocols on my brain.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would expect that will continually get better and faster as well, right?
So now, while this is still processing, I
Yep.
don't know how long we've got for that.
So
to
this
finish.
is your visual cognitive ERP that we're processing right now.
Okay, cool.
And then we've got one more
And
left
then we got
and we're
one
done.
more. Cool.
Yep.
So while we might as well bring this up. So the NDIS
Yep.
funding and programs, they've started to suggest that kids with autism are potentially going to be taken off this
Level 1, yep.
Yeah. Now, that's one.
Heartbreaking.
How does that affect you guys and people like programs? I see Ocean Heroes is a surfing program that my daughter takes place in. That's going to affect people like that.
That's awful.
Why are they pointing to these sorts of things to take the funding out of when there's clear abuse from the NDIS in NDIS in other areas?
Yeah, I just think government, the people that are making policy, they don't understand any of the therapies at all.
No.
So if they don't understand it, how can they recommend it or move forward or pay for it?
Well, some of these parents are like, it's very, as a parent of a child with with ASD, it is very difficult sometimes to navigate certain situations regardless. And then you get these things, these therapies, speech,
Yep.
OT, all these sorts of things that are made available to you to help
Yep.
with that sort of stuff. And then it's expensive.
Yep.
So we get on the NDIS, it takes you so long to get the diagnosis, and you're still paying for all of this whilst you're trying to get the diagnosis. And then you finally get this help to be
Yeah.
able to help your daughter or son navigate the world in the best possible way
Yeah.
and help them in whatever way they possibly can. And then
They
it's
pull the rug out from under
pulling
you.
it away from you.
Oh,
And
it's
I know
heartbreaking.
like the kids with level 2, 3, 4, is there a 4? Well, the higher levels
Yes.
are still going to retain some of that funding. But the parents with level 1, it's still an issue.
It
it's
is.
It's a really difficult thing to navigate, and any sort of therapy to help. Yeah.
Well, it's the same with ADHD, right? Like NDIS does not pay for kiddos with ADHD to have this sort of therapy.
Yeah.
Because they believe that drug therapy is the answer to ADHD. And you're just like, oh.
But there's evidence pointing towards this program and this therapy as a reliable
Yeah.
thing to use.
Yeah.
in
There's science.
treatment.
There's actual science to prove That Look, I mean, I've got adults who come in and have 30 sessions of STIM who have been on ADHD medication. They no longer need to take their ADHD medication anymore.
Now, let's assume you're all good. You don't have ADHD, you don't have autism, you don't have any issues, trauma, whatever. Can you still benefit from just having this?
Oh, yeah, peak performance. Like elite athletes use this all the time.
Yeah, so like in a Formula
Olympians,
One
yes,
driver who needs a
yes,
reaction speed like
yes.
this can help.
And it also helps to block out all the noise,
Wow.
right? So you can tune in and focus and just really...
Focus.
Yeah, like
I
I've got
noticed how hard the test was to try and retain focus for 13 minutes. Two different things.
Yep.
You know, you're only clicking a mouse, but it's 30 minutes of just listening to a sound and watching a screen.
Yeah, and it's designed to
Clicking
be boring and challenging, right?
So that I started to realise that was part of the test almost. It felt like retaining the focus was part of it as well. So, yeah, interesting. The audio one I felt myself struggling with a lot more than the visual.
Well, we can see that you're not an auditory learner.
Well, it is interesting considering I'm a podcast host and I have to listen.
Yeah.
But
when you listen and you're hearing from someone and what they're saying to you, do you struggle with, I need to remember that to let them say something next time? Or no, like you want to say something but you don't want to interrupt them.
Yeah,
and
there's
then
a lot
do you
of that.
remember it?
Yeah. Sometimes I won't remember it. Delby's really good at that. At one, he'll either cut in, which he's gotten a lot better at. He doesn't really do that anymore, but he'll call back to it. He's also fucking elite at doing riff comedy, and he's a what do you call the freestyle rapper? Yeah, okay. So he'll do it live and bring up the things in person straight away. Wow. And his recall of 7 or 8 different things he has to recall from the last 7 or 8 minutes and bring them back all to hit one. So I think his like auditory would be very different to mine. Yeah. But his visual might be
all over the place.
Yeah, I'm not certain, but I'd be very certain that his auditory responses would be very quick.
Yeah, nice and sharp.
Because I mean, the way he processes a joke, I'd give him shit and say they're just basic. But it doesn't matter if they're basic or clever; they're fucking quick, and that's what makes it so. What makes it so funny when it comes to comedy is someone coming up with something so quickly. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. Well, I did notice, like with your eyes closed EEG, you have an 11 hertz alpha peak. So your processing speed is quick.
Okay.
Which is excellent. I'm very jealous.
Oh, so processing speed in regards to what?
Processing information.
Okay. Yeah, with my eyes closed.
Yeah. So we measure it in eyes closed. Okay. That's where we see that's where we measure it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a lot of the time when I've got parents who are giving me their children's like psych reports from a psychologist and all the rest of it, a lot of the time they'll say, oh, well, this child's processing speed is not great. It's in like whatever percentile. Yeah. I'll do the EEG and I go, well, actually, this kid's processing speed's pretty switched on and quick. Just because they've got learning disability or ASD or whatever it is, they may have what I find is that these kids are really, really bright. They're really, really smart. Their brains are just letting them down. Yeah. So they might not necessarily have a slow processing speed. They've actually got quite fast processing speeds. It's just the networks of the brain are not connected properly.
Yeah. Well, like I could see with my daughters, her smarts. She's very smart.
Yes.
She's very switched on, very clued on.
Yeah.
But the ability to persevere through challenges because you haven't done something before, you don't know what the answer is. That's where she struggles, and emotional regulation and a bit of social anxiety.
Yep.
I see that, and that one's a difficult one to navigate. Like, how do you do that? Do I just do the old school resilience? Come on, keep working, keep pushing. Yeah. No, it's probably not going to work because the brain doesn't work that way. So any way that we can help with that, that's going to be incredible. But there's like millions of people around the world, millions of kids around the world, the exact same things going on.
Totally. Yeah. In my opinion, this should be in every juvenile detention centre. It should be in jails. It should be in every classroom, really.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you do a session of neurostim for 30 minutes before school. You're creating neuroplasticity in the brain. You are opening up those neural networks to be able to fire properly. you are giving your child such an advantage in the school classroom to be able to learn and retain information more efficiently than without it. Look, I know when I was doing my psych degree, if I had the neurostim on my brain as I was watching my lectures, I would get better marks in my assessments than when I wasn't.
Okay, wow. Interesting. And then before we finally have a look at what's going on with my brain, are we doing the audio here?
No, this is still the...
Okay, cool. The last part, well, not the last part, I'm interested in the whole lot, but the rewiring of the brain. How are we rewiring it? So we're obviously putting that.
We're putting electrodes on the scalp.
And that's just a natural state of the brain to be at.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to worry. We don't have to add anything in. We don't have to learn a lesson at the same time, so it becomes a neural pathway. We're just opening up the brain to having that neural pathway work and function correctly.
Not neural pathways. What we're doing is we're showing the brain how to regulate and how to be more efficient. So if you've got too much slowing in your frontal lobe, so executive control of behaviour and decision making and processes and all that sort of fun stuff, if we're showing this part of the brain how to speed up and be more present, then and slow down too, essentially, because a lot of the time when we have too much slow wave activity, that can also present as a child being hyperactive, which makes no sense, but that's what's going on. You're essentially giving the child a second opportunity to be able to process properly and use their brain.
Is that what's happening with ADHD as well?
Yep.
So what would we be doing with ADHD?
So if you've got, for example, with ADHD, you'd have some beta spindling, so really fast wave activity, which would be seen as hyperactivity, or you've got some theta, some slow wave activity, which I would refer to as slowing, which I really hate that term. Slowing.
So, I've got a lot of friends with kids that have, and some of them I can think of right now on the top of my head, that I look at them and go, wow, that kid is... And I love them, but they are hyperactive.
Yep.
They are
climbing walls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So
what I would do is I would put a stabilizing rhythm of a 12 to a 15 hertz into their brain, and that stabilizes and it shows the brain how to slow down a little bit. So you're essentially taking a Ferrari and showing the Ferrari how to pop its brakes on.
So you're not showing the kid anything. You're showing the brain. And
I'm showing the brain how to do it, and the brain then mimics.
Wow.
What I'm asking it to do. So it slows it down. If you've got kids with the really big waves, the slow waves, I then speed it up. And again, they're just stabilizing rhythms into the brain. And again, I'm not doing anything to the brain that the brain doesn't naturally already do on its own. I'm just showing it how to do it in a healthy way. Yeah.
Avoiding drugs, avoiding these outside influences.
Therapy
must help in certain ways, would it? Or would would therapy help in any way for autism and for ADHD?
So, what I say to parents is if you're building a house, do you put the roof on first?
Yeah, no.
No, you get your foundations laid, right? And so that's all that this is. We are laying the foundation for then to have a flow-on effect for other like OT, speech, any other complementary therapy to then be able to work and take off. So if you've got your child who is already in OT but they can't speak properly and you're not getting anywhere, well, we need to work the language part of the brain, right?
Yeah.
To communicate properly so that then speech takes off.
Yeah. So, and you were very conscious as well in our last episode of not suggesting you're reversing Alzheimer's. You're not reversing.
We're pausing essentially.
Yeah, you're pausing. Yeah. So now, is there any moves forward to? Is that the same with autism and or ADHD, or is this? Because would you be able to say you're reversing that to a point?
Yeah.
Or alleviating symptoms?
We are alleviating the symptoms and we are creating a better quality of life. So, look, I was extremely ADHD when I was a kid.
Yep.
I had inattentive and hyperactive. I could not concentrate. It was just a disaster.
Yeah.
I've now done a couple of degrees and I'm now working in this space and I'm not dependent on ADHD medication. I'm not dependent on any other complementary therapies to assist me to be able to have the ability to use my brain properly.
Okay.
All I've done is use neurostim or neurofeedback
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago.
Well, how are we looking?
Good. I'm just doing the last one. So when I sound vague when I'm trying to explain things, it's because I'm trying to do too many things at the one time.
No. I think we can. I think the listeners will be quite understanding.
I hope so.
It is very interesting having a look at it in person and seeing it all evolve. Just trying to. I'm the same. I'm trying to. Okay, multitasking. Is that something that you could help with?
Well, when I was at university, they teach you that no one can multitask. Ugh.
Okay.
God.
So they can balance several tasks that are happening, but they'll focus. They're better at
yes.
refocusing on several things.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and men definitely are no good at multitasking.
So
Women are better at it.
Yeah. So I might have 4 things on the go, and I might not be as good as taking my focus away from what I was just doing and moving to this one, and then going to that one, coming back to that one.
Yep.
Why is that for men? Do you know what that is?
Oh, I can't really remember why. It was such a long time ago when I was at uni.
But really, that's what it is.
But
it's just
it's
refocusing.
attention shifting, right? So
Yes.
it's about shifting your attention to doing different tasks. And I think because women are so used to having to either work, have children, study, we are just naturally a little bit more bendy in our mind and our brain to be able to move more efficiently between different tasks, whereas men are very more black and white is what I generally tend to see.
Well, I guess if you were going back to almost like hunter-gatherer stage, we would go out, hunt, bring our food back, and
the end.
And then
women.
You cook and we eat it. Yeah. I guess that's what it was. Whereas they're, foraging, they're looking after the kids, they're cooking, they're cleaning up and hygiene in the campsites or whatever. And this is my broad science coming through my head. But I'd assume that was after thousands of years of doing that, your brains are going to wire a bit differently.
Totally. Yep.
But yeah.
Would you like to be a bit more of a multitasker?
Well, I think my partner would like me to be a bit more of a multitasker.
Okay, I'll make a note.
I am horrific. I'm not great with it.
Yeah.
Like I'd say most men are similar, but if I'm on the phone and texting someone, I can't text and keep that conversation going, or I can't. Hold on, I just need to cut this apple. It's not something I do struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I find like when my husband's driving or we're trying to have a conversation, he'll be able to have that conversation with me, but the speed slows down. And if we're in a hurry, I'm like, come on, mate, let's just keep that foot on the accelerator, concentrate on what I'm saying.
Yeah. I can do so when you got things that we're doing like the default mode network where things just take over, like driving to work or whatever, I can do them multitask, but I can't do things that I don't do regularly. Yeah. Where the default mode, is it the default mode network in your brain?
Default mode network is where you basically go back to whatever your baseline normal was, essentially.
With habits.
Yeah. And so, I talk about your default mode network being your baseline right now. And if I'm trying to create some shifts and some changes, I would then want to try and influence your brain as much as possible so you don't go back to your default mode.
Well, that's what is suggested is happening with psychedelics. I'm pretty sure. So, to take away from the pseudoscience where people will say, well, the mushrooms are taking you on a magical, mystical journey into another dimension. Well, maybe. But the science, they explain it that it's numbing your default mode network and helping you rewrite those neural pathways.
Yeah, so it's loosening things up, essentially.
Yeah.
The neurostimulation does exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So it just works in a similar way, except
drug-free.
Wow.
That's the only difference. But there've been times where I've had a patient and I've recommended some psychedelics because I think that might be more efficient in getting in there and shaking things up than the stim.
Well, we in Australia are, I think, the world leaders in that. I think I don't know if we are still, but we definitely were the first to legalise it medicinally and study that. And, you know, we've had Dr. Stephen Bright on, who is a big part of that, and how that's been playing out in Western Australia and Australia.
Excellent.
So that's certainly
Well, it
a
lowers your
big part of the
inhibitions.
future.
Yeah, it lowers the inhibitions, and it can help people to open up a little bit more, especially if that journey takes them somewhere where they really didn't want to have to go,
Yeah.
right? It forces them into processing or the start of processing
Yeah.
something in a way that it's not scary or threatening.
Yeah,
and
it's interesting
safe.
because the way the brain processes it all is incredible.
It
so
is, yeah.
Whatever story and fantasy it takes you to create that I guess way to navigate through a
Yeah.
trauma or something is that's
It can
interesting.
only be beneficial.
Yeah, but then you can get similar through breath work. And
The breath work is interesting. I quite like the breath work.
so the way that Cameron Watkins told us about it was that it's very similar to psychedelics, except it's like having an accelerator,
Okay.
and you can take your foot off the accelerator.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got a mushroom, you're in.
Yeah.
If you're having DMT, you're in. There's
Yeah.
no going back.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in doing breath work, dealing with your things and the traumas, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm not here for this today. I'm
Yeah.
done. This is too much.
Yeah.
You can change your breath and come back out of
Yeah,
it.
that's
Whereas
cool.
a mushroom, you're sort of in.
Yeah, you're committed.
But I mean, both, like if they've got the benefit.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. So
Like, give it a go. I remember doing some neurostim on myself recently and then going and doing a breathwork class,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty wild after I'd done the stim, because the stim is getting the blood flowing, right?
Yeah.
And that's, you start then doing
Wow.
breath work, you're getting extra oxygenated blood to the parts of the brain that it's just like breath work on steroids.
wow, yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
A
It's
couple of my friends who are not into anything alternative
Yeah.
just went and did a health retreat in Bali.
Oh, yeah.
And a big part of that was breath work.
Okay.
And he was saying he was like in tears, and if you knew the guy, it's not him. That's not the sort of person he is. He's not into all that. He's like, the things that were coming up,
Wow.
the feeling after,
Yeah.
the feeling is unlike anything he's ever felt. He couldn't recreate that feeling.
Wow.
If he tried, like the feeling of ease and peace was just, he was surrounded by it. So
Wow.
to hear that from someone who's, I wouldn't say he's a closed-minded person, but he's
Yeah.
a very,
It's just not his jam.
yeah, he's
Normally.
exactly. He's
Yeah.
just I'll go to work, I'll do my thing,
Yeah.
come back, play some footy, let's have a beer. He's
Yeah.
that sort of guy.
Yeah.
Absolute legend, but he's not in that realm of things. And to hear him have that sort of impact
Quite profound.
through breath work, it just shows it doesn't really, you can't pick and choose.
No, that's
it's
right.
it's a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not one of these things you just have to be open to.
No, because if it's going to be effective, right, like something will happen.
Well, he said it was quite a workout.
Yes, it is.
Like-
It can be really tough,
Yeah.
really hard. You don't want to be busting to go to the toilet. I can
Well,
tell you
if
that
you
much.
or whatever the process is, it's a
Yeah.
but for 10, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
you're gonna hallucinate.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
I get lightheaded when I breathe
Same.
heavily sometimes,
Yeah.
like, so if you're doing that for upwards of 10, 15 minutes,
Yeah,
people are-
sometimes 20.
yes, I think people can pass out.
Yeah.
Like you've got to be careful.
Hyperventilate.
Yeah. So interesting. But,
Yeah.
how are we looking with this? What we got over there?
Still crunching the numbers.
Jesus.
I know it takes a while.
No, that's all right. We were having very interesting conversations while we were waiting for it. What can we hope to find when we look at some of this
Well,
information?
I've had like a few sneaky peeks into. You're definitely not an auditory learner. I can see that. There's a lot of latency happening in your brain.
Oh, dear.
But that's okay.
Yeah, okay. So what does that mean then? If
There's too much slow wave activity happening in your brain when you're trying to process.
okay.
So what that means is, I think what I would want to do with you is a PAC protocol, a phase amplitude coupling protocol, because I can see that your brain is really out of phase in your theta and your gamma.
Okay.
And so I think that's sort of, and again, like once this finishes and I can bring all the data up, I'll explain and show you what that all means.
Okay.
But yeah, like it is quite a process, and to to come to the stage of understanding and knowing which protocol that I want to work with you, I've just got to go through all this data and see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
I am looking forward to when Delby potentially does this.
Definitely.
And I think what we'll do is we'll do this all for an hour and a half prior.
Yes.
You can crunch all the numbers and we can get straight into it.
Yeah.
And
We don't need to do this whole process
no,
again.
but this is interesting, I think, for people to hear and see what has been happening.
Well, and like I get so many people saying, what is the process? What do I have to do?
Well, this is the process.
Yeah, so now they can just watch this.
Yeah. Well, I might include some of the process.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of dead air in some of that.
Oh, totally. You don't need all of it.
So I'll cut a bit of that out. But there's some early parts where you're talking through some of it. So we'll see how that goes. But, it is I found it quite a process of concentration. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is like that. I mean, can be considered almost training? Would you do similar things? Because you see, like, again, I'll use F1 drivers. They'll drop the tennis ball or they'll touch the lights.
Yeah.
And the more they do it, I guess, the more
in tune they're. So that's like
is that training, or is that just activating a part of your brain that's already there?
No, it's a form of training. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So So here we go. This is now jumping through. So the ERPs that we're doing, where you're looking at the go, no, and then the beeping, that's all done on an oddball. So it's you can't learn it.
Okay.
Because it's all different at every single assessment is different. So you're not learning the rhythms of the beeping, and you're not learning when go is going to come up. And a lot of the time people will try and count how many goes there are so that they get what the rhythm is, so they can circumnavigate that process. And you're like, you can't. Yeah. It's completely random.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can't learn. Or what you do learn is that you have to click on the go and you don't click on the no. But you never, So it's constantly testing to see how you are processing information.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting.
But then you've got muscle memory, right, for what you're talking about with that. And it sort of depends on, with the Formula One drivers, it sort of depends on what it is you're trying to achieve as well.
Could you, if you wanted to relearn something and change a pattern or a habit, what would we be doing with neurostim there? Would that help in any way?
Yeah, so the US military created a DAPRA montage, and they did a lot of scientific testing on this, and they realised that if they use a transcranial direct current stimulation from whichever side of the temple, so one electrode there and one electrode on the shoulder, they can increase learning by, I'd have to pull the numbers up, but they could increase learning by like 25% in their elite soldiers.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you're wanting to learn something new, there's, we can use that protocol on people, and then they bring what it is that they're wanting to learn into the session. We do the neurostimulation for 30 minutes, run that protocol, and you're getting a deeper level of learning and training.
So is that what's happening to a kid when they're young and they're learning languages?
Yeah, their brains are just so mushy and like
Absorbing.
good for learning and grasping concepts.
Okay.
Same for a language.
But at that same time, they're learning and developing habits and experiencing traumas and whatever, and that's also part of that.
Totally.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I think, do we see
All right, we're good.
We're good? All right. So what do we want to look at here?
Okay, so I'm going to open this Your Eyes Open map to start off with.
Okay. I'm going to put this on the full screen there. So this is something I think a lot of listeners, if you got this on YouTube, you could probably watch the rest of this on YouTube, or you can visually watch on Spotify as well.
Okay, cool.
But talk it through as if they almost... Actually, just talk it through as if you can see it.
Okay, cool.
Because we'll assume they can.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, because this is a really visual thing. You need to see it. So, this is telling me. So, this is number one. We're looking at the summary for the Z scores in absolute power and relative power.
Yes.
Absolute power is about the here and now, so how you're currently functioning.
Yep.
And then relative power is the measure of balance in your brain.
Okay.
So, this is telling me, this is a measure from my database of all the healthy people compared to you
Yep.
in my database. So this is telling me that you are 3 standard deviations deficient in delta.
Okay.
Okay, and theta. Anywhere that's blue, there's a deficiency.
Okay. So
Okay.
deficiency in beta, did you say?
Delta.
Delta. Now, what does that mean?
Deep sleep.
Deep sleep. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. It's I think in relative power you're 2 standard deviations below the norm. So essentially what you'd want is everything to be green. Okay. So
Okay.
anything that's blue is a deficiency. Anything that's red is too much activity.
Mm-hmm.
So you're underactive in high beta, you're underactive in normal beta, and your alpha pretty good. Like I said, I can see a lot of alpha in your brain.
Okay. So explain those 3. So the underactive in the
So what we want is to give you some better ability to be able to get into the deep rhythms of restorative sleep at night time.
okay. And how what is there is a way to show what is causing that?
I don't know what's causing it.
But
I can just tell you how the brain's functioning right now.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Interesting.
Yep.
That's cool.
Okay, so absolute power. So you're creating too much alpha in the posterior. So this is interesting, right? So when we see alpha like that, a lot of the time I'm like looking at it thinking, is there a part of you that is sort of wondering how you fit in the world?
For me,
In the world, in your world, not in the world, but in your world, like
yeah, what my role is always a thing. Like I'm very
Yeah.
self-reflective of like, do I just cruise on by? Do I try
Yeah.
and have an impact? Do I just be a good father? Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to
Okay.
figure yourself out. Yep.
Yep. So that's the alpha at PZ. T6 here is overactive in beta.
Okay.
So that's the trauma. That's the dysregulation that I saw at T6.
Okay.
And it's interesting. It's in pretty much every map.
Okay.
At
So a
T6.
trauma.
It's just emotional dysregulation. It could be trauma. It could be anything really. It's a little bit of trauma blocking happening here at T6 because it's underactive.
Okay.
So
Trauma blocking.
yeah. So so your brain will be preventing you from being able to access that trauma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
In alpha. So we like to process trauma and whatnot in between theta and alpha, or what we would call thalpha.
So there's still some traumas deep down there for me to deal with.
Maybe.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
I'm maybe a little deep dive into the hallucinogenic realm.
Maybe.
You maybe a bit
Loosen
of-
it all up a little
yeah,
bit.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
Yep.
I'm certain there's
Something.
a couple of things I still want to deal with.
Yep.
That
Okay.
have just been like,
There you go.
yeah, they don't need to be dealt with right now.
Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Interesting. Very interesting. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing there. I really love working in relative power because this is the measure of balance in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I only really take note of anything that's over 20%. Your alpha is at 35%,
Okay.
which means that's unhealthy. So there's too much alpha.
Okay. So
We need to reduce those levels of alpha down.
and how can I reduce that? Obviously the stem.
Yep, some stim, some talking therapies,
Okay.
go process.
Okay. So this is
Potentially.
all still to do with trauma.
It can be, yeah. So, yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Well, I got some repeating stuff coming up.
Do you?
Yeah.
What,
yeah.
in sleep?
No, probably.
Flashbacks.
Yeah, no, just like some repeating cycles that I sort of need.
Okay. Oh, so you mean like everyday life?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Where you get into the washing machine and things go repeat?
No, they just keep coming up, and instead of dealing with them, I'll just
But how are they coming up? In your interactions with other people?
other people. Yeah,
Got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some things that have, and I kind of like put my foot down last night actually. Didn't really want that to continue with some people around me, and so maybe that's something I do need to deal with a bit more
Right.
because it's not me.
Yeah.
It's probably people pleasing.
Right.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a bit of people pleasing, not trying to upset anyone, but I was like,
Yeah.
well, no, you're starting to affect me with these habits or ways you're acting.
Okay.
Put my foot down a little bit. Just said,
That
"Oi."
explains all the alpha back there.
Okay. Would that, okay, it would? Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the way to, without doing stim, would be to just deal with this.
Just
and
go see a
release
talking
it.
therapist. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I would be doing.
All right, cool.
You might not even need any neurostim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm constantly thinking and processing as
Yeah.
you're talking and giving me information back.
Also, like, got a lot of things going on. Like, my family, my mum's obviously had a few health issues a lot over the last couple of years, and there's more and more that keep on coming up. So there's one more little thing that's got to be sorted and fixed. So I don't know if that's not great at the moment.
Oh, it's stressful.
Yeah, stress.
Causes
definitely.
stress.
Yeah, stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the mu here. So remember how I said you've got some mu in your brain, which is the frontal lobe disengagement. So
Yep.
you can see here when C3 and C4 are overactive, then this part here, your prefrontal cortex won't switch on.
Oh, okay.
So that's the disengagement.
And the prefrontal cortex is really big for emotional regulation.
It's really big for like making, learning, decision making,
Yeah, okay.
executive control of behaviour, all that sort of fun stuff.
Okay. Now, what state am I in when that's occurring, or is this
So-
just a generalized?
Do you feel like you can be like zoned out like that and then come back and you're like, ooh.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right. So that's disassociating.
Okay.
So when we are creating this mu and then when we've got some higher levels of theta in the brain, you're only at 15.1.
Yeah.
But when you've got a profile like this, it's a dissociative profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Because,
you're not
like my
as
partner will go
connected
like,
to
where
self.
do you go? What are you
Yeah.
thinking sometimes? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's on the footy tomorrow? Like or whatever. Like,
I'm going somewhere nice and fluffy where I don't have to be faced here with reality right now.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely at the current time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will become, it can become maladaptive, right?
Maladaptive.
So it can be unhelpful.
Yeah. Well, it's again the people pleasing, just trying to help a few people around me, but it's becoming a point where it's almost damaging to me.
Totally.
So yeah.
And so-
Trying to be nice and kind and helpful and supportive is taking a toll on myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I can see that now.
Yeah. Okay.
It's coming out
Yeah.
in your brain.
Wow, that's incredible that you can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so, when you sit down and you do the deep dive and you start talking and you start unpacking all of this, right?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Well, and some of that stems back to a repeating cycle from when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
it's seeing it over and over again. So, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
And
trying to be kind and respectful to the people I'm
Oh.
talking about, that we're not giving away too much. But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's the tricky part of trying to break this all down, right?
That's
is
fine,
to
yeah.
be able to talk about it in a sensitive way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was just me and you, I'd just tell you. But this
Totally.
is
And you don't have to tell
Yeah,
me
but-
at all.
But when it's other people, I think it is sometimes respectful to just not talk about it. But yeah,
Yeah. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
For
But yep,
sure.
cool. Yep.
Okay, so and again, so this mu here is in beta. You're at 17%, so it's getting up there. There's more like a bit of a vigilant state as well.
Okay. Interesting.
And so when I said I could see this CZ beta spindling here,
Yep.
so that's what tells me that potentially your sleep is not as great as what it could be.
Okay.
And so we know that you are 3 standard deviations below the norm for restorative sleep.
Yep.
So one of my goals would be working with you is to either, there'd be a couple of things. I want to increase and give you better quality of sleep, and I
Yep.
would like to try and maybe reduce the mu in the brain as well.
Well, let's have a look. For example, I got my Whoop on.
Okay.
I can tell you what my sleep was last night, which I'd say felt reasonable, but I was agitated a bit by my partner's
Yeah,
coughing,
yeah.
and then
And then if you had
again,
some stuff going
more
on
just
last night.
thinking through, like, putting my foot down
But that's also good, right? Because you're creating a boundary.
Yeah, correct. But it did
And that's
say
hard.
hours needed versus hours got was 83%. Sleep consistency. Sleep efficiency is probably one. I got an 89%. Let's go back to the recovery. Here we go. So your sleep performance and you want the deep sleep, I think.
Yeah.
Where is this? Where do they put that? Strain. They usually give you a good old breakdown of what it was. Sleep efficiency. Sorry, listeners, I'm trying to find this. I can't find it. I don't know how to navigate this app very well. Anyway, it seems to be that my efficiency, that would be what I'd want, isn't it?
I guess. I haven't used a Whoop.
Recovery. Well, it's telling me my sleep performance is about 76%. So it could definitely
it could be better.
Yeah, it could definitely improve.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not
Not
horrible,
that bad.
but it could definitely improve.
Yeah, but like we want, so the deep delta, the deep restorative rhythms at nighttime of sleep are so important, right? Because that's where our body is recovering.
So it does give me, and for some reason I couldn't find it there, but it does give me, your awake, your REM sleep, deep sleep and light sleep, and strain. And very rarely, I don't have it, almost never have strain.
What's strain?
Stress.
Oh, right.
Like if you had a nightmare, I guess, or waking up in the night, you can see a quick spike on that. But doesn't usually do that. But I always seem to be slightly below the REM and deep.
Okay.
Then they're recommending.
Yeah. All right. So essentially what we really need is to get you sleeping well.
Okay.
When we don't get into those really deep restorative levels of sleep, your brain's not restoring. And then that has a flow-on effect to everything else in your body, right?
Yeah. I'm interested because that's been a thing lately where I don't know if it's helping. Look, this is a perfect example right now. I can't fucking articulate very well lately.
Yeah, I'm having those issues too.
Probably the last month I haven't been able to articulate, formulate the sentences and really say exactly what I'm trying to say.
Right.
As I would have maybe 3-4 months ago.
Okay.
Now I did go on a trip, drank a lot of alcohol. My sleep patterns are all over the joint because of jet lag and getting up in the middle of the night for flights and stuff. So I underend it. But I've been back for 4 weeks.
You should have recovered well by then.
So
in 4 weeks.
Just something the last at least 3-4 months I've noticed because when you're talking on a podcast all the time, you can't formulate your responses and you can't articulate correctly. You really notice it because you're surrounded by people who can, and you start to feel inadequate. So I've really noticed that over the last 2-3 months specifically.
I get it. Okay, interesting. Well, all right. So I'm just going to run your AI protocol through the system.
Okay.
So let's see. So I can't choose the degenerative one to evaluate. Should we do mood, developmental disorder? Should we do substance disorder
Whatever.
and personality? Let's do all three. Let's do all four.
All of them, yeah.
Have you ever had any TBIs, concussions?
Yeah.
Okie
Yeah, I've
dokie.
definitely had a couple of them in footy and one drunken night in Thailand in a boxing ring.
Excellent. All right, we'll tick all those boxes.
Yeah, tick them all.
All right, so that's going to start the process now.
Okay. And so this will formulate a
Protocol for you.
As in the coupling protocol?
Correct.
Okay.
So when we go back here, I want to have a look at your theta. So this is telling me if your brain is in phase, and your brain is not in phase in theta. So this should all be red.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Oh, and that's all yellow.
Yeah.
That's barely red. There's a
Correct.
couple of dots of red.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in your parietal lobes.
Now, what does that mean?
So that means, so that's your theta. I'm just going to have a look at your gamma. So your gamma is better. So there's more phase going on in gamma. So So this is memory, right? So these phase amplitude coupling protocols were designed off a paper. I wonder if I've got this paper that I can share. Oh, probably not right now. So they were designed by in a study in and around trying to help patients with Alzheimer's and dementia, and combating the memory loss.
Yeah.
Right? And so these PAC protocols is what Dr. Dogris has created, and we're now using to press pause on dementia and Alzheimer's. And so what the study and what the science says is when your theta and your gamma are out of phase, you will have issues with memory and recalling information and processing, essentially. So what this is going to be doing is showing your brain how to get back in phase again.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think that's probably what I would do with you.
Okay. Interesting.
And then you will find when you're on the podcast or when you're communicating and you're talking, your ability to get what is in here out here will improve immensely.
Okay, cool. Because I couldn't even remember the word paradox yesterday.
There you go.
Which is like
frustrating.
Yeah. I was like, what am I trying to think of? I've been doing that a lot lately. Listeners might even have noticed it, but I can't seem to navigate it as well as I possibly could. So
right. So getting your brain back in phase would be really beneficial. Maybe, in October we can do a little experiment and just get some stim into you and see and just track how you're feeling. Notice all of that, do your whoop thing and see how you are performing when you are working here and doing podcasts with people.
And this is the thing, like I pride myself on trying to be the best version of myself health-wise.
Yeah.
But if my brain isn't functioning correctly, then what does a physical body matter?
Yeah, totally. Because at the end of the day, our health is the most valuable thing that we have, right? Without it, quality of life is not as great.
Interesting. Yeah. Is there anything else we look at with this, with my auditory and...
Yes. Let's have a quick look at your ERPs. Let's do the visual first. So... Okay, so this number here, 6.69, not fabulous, not super bad.
What's this one?
So this is measuring your microvolts of power in the brain, right? Anything 5 and below is neurodegenerative.
Wow.
Right? So you're at 6.69. What this also says to me though is that your brain will have enough power to take on this stim and what we're asking it to do in getting healthier and change. Okay. So it's not bad.
Yeah.
I do want to also prefix, there is never anything good or bad with anyone's brains. Everyone's brains are phenomenal, right? I never want a kid or anyone coming in thinking that there's a deficiency or there's something wrong with them. There is nothing wrong with anyone.
Yeah. It's just a way that you can be more efficient or quicker or process faster. Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yep. Okay. So the next one that we're looking at here is how well synchronized that your brain is from a cognitive perspective. So we're not syncing as well as I would like. Okay. What I'm looking for is a really healthy P300. So you've got a P300 happening here. I would just like for this red blob to be more centered between 2 and 400, so here. And I would like this big blue blob to be more centered and more pronounced on top of the red blob. Okay. So essentially we've got to get T3 online a little bit more. We need to get T5 online, P3, PZ. But again, nothing crazy, nothing's really standing out as being really significant.
Yeah.
In here you can see exactly what we're working with the processing. So this P300, so the research states the brain should take 300 milliseconds to receive information, click on your button, process. Okay. Your brain's working a little slower, more of a P400. So what I would want to do is show this brain how to create a healthier P300. You can see that there's a detecting, like the brain's doing exactly what it's meant to do. It is detecting. We are getting an executive response, and then the tail end, there's more, there's less what I would call latency, so a bit of slowing happening as you're trying to process. Okay. This technically should look like a butterfly, right? Like the wings and then the beautiful body of the butterfly, and I'd want to see that here at the P300. So brain's pretty good. Okay. Essentially, so that's your visual cognitive. The auditory is a lot different.
Oh no!
Bum, 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 bum. Moment of truth.
Yep.
So we've got 4.81. So
which is
neurodegenerative numbers. So we
Wow.
need to increase that. So look, that could be from anything. Maybe those bangs to the head, maybe that's
Yeah.
a contributing factor.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know for sure, so I cannot categorically say that TBI that you had is causing this. I cannot do that.
Okay.
So this slide here is telling me that there is quite a bit of slowing. Now, again, I hate that word slowing.
Yeah.
It's latency, but there is slow wave activity happening when you're trying to process information that you're hearing.
Yep.
So what I would like, and again, there's a lot of noise in this brain too, right? So you see all this discoloration, this
Yep.
is noise.
Okay.
The brain's not synchronizing as well as what I would like it to synchronize.
Yep.
So there's a P600, or P between 4 and 600. Right? I want a P300.
Yeah.
So this slide here is really great for showing that we want this executive response happening here,
Right in the middle.
right? Not here, not
Yep.
between 5 and 600 milliseconds.
Okay.
So we just want to speed it. We just want to shift everything to the left.
Would it be beneficial being on the far left side of that graphic?
No, because then it's happening too quickly. And we want, so it's about balance.
So if it was too quick, you're not able to use
Well, you're
discernment?
preempting. You're preempting and
yeah.
you're like, it's too quick.
Okay,
we
cool.
just need to,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be that good.
Yeah,
Yep,
just cool your jet.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and so now we've got your AI report. So let's open that.
Okay.
So let's just let it load.
Here we go.
Here we go. So this is there are 3 assessments in this one report. So I'm just going to go down to the bits that we are more interested in. Okay, so your posterior dominant rhythm. So remember how I said you've got an 11 hertz processing speed?
Yes.
So that's what I was reading in your raw data of your EEG as you had your eyes closed.
Yes.
And so this is now confirming once it's crunched all the numbers, it's like, yes, Lara, well done. You can actually read an EEG.
yeah.
So your posterior dominant rhythm is 11.25 hertz.
Okay.
Okay. So which means you are a very intelligent, switched on, clever cookie.
Always knew it.
So yeah, I'm very jealous.
It also shows I'm very humble, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yep.
Okay, so these are the clinical profiles. So your developmental score was 5. So you're in the green, nice and healthy. So you
Okay,
don't
cool.
have any ASD, no autism, no ADHD, learning, all that sort of stuff.
Well,
So
that is a shock to me.
really, there you go.
Okay, so no ADHD by this standard.
No.
Oh, wow.
Oh, goodness me. This is giving me 100% on your mood score.
Which is that a bad thing or a good thing?
Oh, it just says it's just a clinical EEG profile summary for a mood disorder.
A mood disorder? What the fuck does that mean? I'm angry or do I?
No. It's so this EEG profile demonstrates an extremely high resemblance to recordings of patients diagnosed with a mood disorder such as depression, anxiety, PTSD. This is premenstrual syndrome or PMDD. So it's just saying your EEG is compared to the database saying, yes, you have a 100% score of depression, anxiety or PTSD.
Wow.
So
Definitely.
because of the emotional dysregulation that we saw at T6,
Yeah.
it's potentially picking up on that.
Yeah.
So what you have to remember though, this is not a diagnosis.
No. But
Okay.
still, it's a pretty accurate.
It's picking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we talked before about the
Yep.
potential traumas and stuff that are yet to be dealt with. And I mean, it could
Picking
be
it
as simple
up.
as that, isn't it?
Yeah.
PTSD, definitely.
There you go.
And reoccurring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you're managing on a daily basis.
Yeah, correct.
So personality disorder score, again, you're at 15, so no. And then substance score, 15. So you're in the green.
Cool.
That's good. That's what we want. That's all the stuff that we would expect. TBI score. This is interesting. I almost didn't click on this.
Okay, what's TBI score?
So you're in the orange.
Which means what?
That could explain the
The TBI is the head trauma.
in your auditory capacity of 4.81, right? So your microvolts.
Yep.
So-
So the concussions in football and
Maybe. Yeah.
now, is that something we can help and
Yes.
improve? Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this protocol that the system has now picked up for your PAC protocol, let's see where the placements are. So it's selected a 6 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all working the right side of the brain. So C4 to T4, F4 to T4 again. So this is identified that the right side of your brain, the frontal area, and the temporal lobe, and your sensory motor cortex at C4 all requires some work.
Which is just putting some
healing energy back into your brain to speed it up, to make it, to show it how to get back into phase again.
And healing energy could trigger people who are not wanting to hear that sort of woo-woo pseudoscience terminology.
Totally.
You mean just like putting some
healthy rhythms back into the brain, so so that the brain's working in a more efficient manner.
Yes.
So again, that's going to help with your memory, your word recall, all that sort of stuff.
which is
what you need.
what I would love.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be lovely. As a person who talks for a living, it would be lovely.
Yeah, it would be super helpful.
Yeah. Now, so, okay, now we see all this. You would then create a protocol.
So the protocol's been created.
Yep.
You would then now come in depending on how you want to work. I prefer working in an intensive way, so 2 sessions a day for 3 weeks, and just really get on top of it. Do not give that brain the opportunity to go back to poor word recall and all that sort of annoying business.
Wow. Okay, and then finally, this is obviously we talked about the NDIS funding for kids and stuff, but obviously I don't have no diagnosis or anything. It's going to be a little bit costly, I'd assume.
Yeah, $150 a session.
Yeah, okay. And if you're doing 2 a day, that's going to add up.
Gets up. So I think like a course of this is like 6,000 to 7,000. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But if you're creating a permanent change.
Well, and this is it. It's not like a drug that you're on for the rest of your life for $50,000.
It's actually cheap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at it over a lifetime, when you get kids really young and they might do like quite a bit, when you calculate how much it costs over the lifespan,
correct,
it's really cheap.
Definitely. Oh wow, that's been a good fun episode. I mean, we've been going for
hours.
3.5 hours now, we will cut this down so it's not too much dead air in the process. But still, 3.5 hours. I'm pretty exhausted, so I really do appreciate you coming in, and I do hope we can direct more people to coming in and seeing you. Yeah. Seems like it is already anyway.
Yeah. The other thing I would do with you with all of this is some vagal nerve stimulation as well, which is just a clip on your left tragus.
Yep.
And I think, considering that, you've got that 100% score, we need to work on your central nervous system as well. So I find when we're doing vagal nerve stimulation together with these protocols, because we are creating tone on your vagal nerve, that then has access to every organ of your body.
Wow.
So you're creating more opportunities for your system to be more resilient.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, we've obviously used me as an example because I'm the guinea pig here, but this is what everyone would go through. And when they come to see you, they do these programs and get a score and then be given a protocol to go through.
Yeah, totally.
And it's actually quite simple when it comes down to it, when you think about that.
Yeah.
Mate.
So simple.
Simple,
it's only
but
taken us hours.
Yeah, exactly. But wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
So cool
in my mind that's something I would invest in.
Yeah,
and put my money towards.
Totally.
I'm putting money towards holidays, and I put money towards gym, and I put money towards all these other therapies.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I put my money towards this?
Well, and it's your brain, right?
Yeah.
Would you buy a Ferrari and not go and have it serviced?
Yeah, and then obviously, when it comes to, like I talked about before, the self-managed NDIS program. So if that's going to help a lot of parents who are probably struggling to get by at some point. So
big game changer.
Yeah, I really do appreciate your time. Is there something you want to plug, I guess, to finish up and how we can get in touch with you?
Yeah, so just go to our website, Neurotherapy Clinics Australia, www.ncau.com.au.
Perfect.
And you can find us there. You can reach out to us there. I'm on Instagram. so there's the Tamworth Clinic, the Jindabyne Clinic, soon to be here in Perth.
Perfect.
I'm looking at spaces.
I'll get you to send me some links, and
sure.
I'll put them in the description of the episode.
Yep.
But thank you so much. I'm exhausted.
I know, me too.
Yeah, but thanks so much for coming, and we'll have you back in October.
Yep.
I reckon with Delby.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's
that'll
do
be
that.
interesting. So, awesome.
Cool.
Thanks for coming.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Easy.